Welcome back to Sajika's Line and Length. People were also asking if the test series will be shown on CBC TV Channel 8. As far as I had been made aware, it's indeed live on TV 8. Coverage will start from about 9:45 on Saturday morning. At least that's the last word that I've been told. So yes, that's the first question. Let's take in some emails. Of course, the email address again, barry@lineandlength.net. We already have some 13 emails in the till. We can't read all 13 for you, but we're going to indeed start the ball rolling. Let's put up our first email. Of course, it's been written to us. Dear Barry, finally can get through to Line and Length. The West Indies team play roller coaster cricket. I expect them to lose at least one test. Not that I'm being negative, but to be honest, their track record speaks for itself. Look at how they had hopes, had our hopes so high in South Africa, and then let us down. I await the panel's response, signed A. Davis. Gentlemen, respond to that.
Yeah, everybody, obviously, the West Indies supporters out there will love West Indies to win, but because as the guy who wrote the email, the person who wrote the email said they've played roller coaster cricket, which is up and down, and there's no guarantee that West Indies can go out there on Saturday and really do well. And again, too, Sri Lanka's had a taste of the New Providence Stadium in Guyana. They got a lot of runs on the pitch, so at least they have a feel for the venue.
It was also their base for the World Cup last year.
So they have a feel for the venue, and again, our bowlers will have to really work hard. And I believe that the series is going to be a good series. Obviously, the key to Sri Lanka is Mulitharan and how well we bat him. But I believe if our top batsmen can get in and bat well, then Mulitharan will not be so much of a threat once the guys apply themselves. So I'm looking for a good series.
All right, let's take in another email. This one, I believe, comes from a gentleman. Hi, Barry. I'm very disturbed by the Ryan Hinds story, but couldn't have Hinds paid for his ticket and then ask the board to reimburse him. Signed, Just Wondering. You tackle that one, Philo.
Well, he could have paid for his ticket, but you expect when a man is selecting a West Indies squad that everything is sorted.
That was my point to a colleague who asked me.
I think it's just a cricket operations blip, and it won't happen again. We have to learn from our mistakes, or the West Indies Cricket Board should learn from their mistakes. But maybe if Ryan had the money, I believe he would have paid. But at the end of the day, it's just strictly disappointment. Obviously, you feel so good knowing that you're in the squad again after a 3-year break. When you get there's no ticket. You're not going to pay. The first thing you're going to say is, I'm going home, and I'll take the next flight out. But, he could have, but he did not. But luckily, he's on a flight to Ghana now, and hopefully he'll go in, and there'll be no animosity between him and any other parties involved. And let's try and get the cricket rolling.
All right, let's take in another email. Perhaps let me look for one that's addressed directly to the panel. Yeah, here it is. This one is directly to the panel, so... Good night, gentlemen. Can you please tell me when I will be able to call in on this program again, and also when it will be carried on radio? Interesting. Now to my main point. When will someone from the board be fired before the whole team is left stranded somewhere in the Far East? That's like my Donald. Well, I was told that in South Africa, the last tour, that Pedro Collins and Darren Ganga were left stranded at the airport in South Africa when they flew over. And there was no one from the board. Luckily, Tony Kozer, a journalist who happened to be picking up his wife at the airport, saw them and was able to help. Vasbert, how does it work in terms of when you're picked to play for the West Indies, you're flown over? How does it work? How does the connection work? Who picks you up? Who makes those kind of arrangements?
Oh, Barry, I didn't play that much.
You did play?
No, I think in the ideal world, people need to be accountable for the, obviously, the way how they do things. And one would like to think, you're playing cricket at the highest level. You have probably the organisation supposed to be structured in such a way that you shouldn't make those simple, hiccups. Because it's very disappointing, as Philo said, for the players. And at the end of the day, people got to be held accountable and responsible if you're going to go forward. And someone got to come up and say, well, look, probably it's my fault. It don't make sense. We harping on all the time and looking to cover for everyone. Clearly, there's been a fault from, obviously, the board or the airline. They come and say, well, look, to the public, I'm sorry, we inconvenienced Ryan, and therefore in the future we can look things rather than everyone looking to cover it up, because we're not going anywhere by doing that. Sometimes in the ideal world, Barry, if you're playing professional cricket, and you're playing a professional setup, if you don't get it right, they fire you.
But you were given,
as simple as that.
You were given timed out. It gave me South Africa.
No, but that was different, Barry. We don't need to go into that, because I traveled from Sri Lanka to Dubai to London to Johannesburg to East London to play a cricket game.
Wow.
So that was the commitment. Not that I get there on time.
Right, you got there.
I got there, so I flew in a lot of time zones and